Well, we don't find any. So we don't have a progression, an evolution to show where this came from.
They opened the crypt expecting treasure, obsidian masks, gold ornaments, proof of glory. But what they unearthed was stranger than anything carved in stone. Inside brittle bones, sealed for centuries beneath the city of Tenochtitlán, scientists found a code, a genetic map that didn't match any single tribe in Mesoamerica. At first, they thought it was contamination. Then the patterns began to repeat. The Aztecs' DNA was a patchwork of vanished peoples, fragments from the north, traces from the south, markers from civilizations long erased. Every sequence told a story of migration, conquest, and something far more chilling, replacement. Entire populations had vanished, their genes overwritten by newcomers. This wasn't evolution, it was engineering, ancient, deliberate, and unstoppable. And what scientists uncovered next proved that the Aztecs weren't who we thought they were. Not even close. Every empire leaves behind monuments, but the Aztecs left something far more telling: their DNA. When scientists extracted genetic fragments from bones buried beneath the twin cities of Tlatelolco and Tenochtitlán, they expected to trace a single origin story. But the sequences didn't align with the myth of Aztlán, the legendary northern homeland the Aztecs claimed. Instead, the genetic map showed waves of migration colliding from across the continent. Distinct haplogroups, QM3, QZ768, and others, revealed a fusion of multiple peoples, not one unified tribe. The Aztecs weren't born from a single lineage, they were assembled. A coalition built through war, resettlement, and absorption. An empire crafted not just by a conquest, but by biological design. And as researchers decoded the next layer of DNA, they realized something impossible. Some of these markers didn't belong to the Valley of Mexico at all. Before the Aztecs rose to power, the valley was home to the Otomi of Xaltocan, a thriving civilization with its own temples, art, and language. Then one day, they vanished. For generations, historians believed they simply assimilated or migrated. But DNA told a darker story. When scientists compared pre- and post-Aztec samples, the genetic signatures didn't just fade, they disappeared completely.
Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you never miss inspiring discoveries of faith, archaeology, and prophecy. Like and share this video to a friend or family. Your support helps us to spread this word of grace.
In their place were markers from hundreds of miles away, people who had never lived in that region before. It wasn't cultural blending, it was genetic erasure, the systematic replacement of one people with another. Like ink poured over history, the original bloodlines were rewritten. And if this happened in one city, what about the others? As researchers expanded their study, they began to see the same haunting pattern. An empire built on the quiet extinction of entire nations. As researchers gathered more samples across central Mexico, a chilling pattern began to emerge. Each new excavation site, from Tlatelolco to Chalco, from Texcoco to Zumpango, told the same story: erasure and replacement. The DNA didn't show peaceful assimilation, it showed sudden shifts, as if one population had been wiped out and another had taken its place. This was not a coincidence. The University of Texas team coined a new term for what they were seeing: demographic replacement. The Aztecs hadn't just conquered land, they had repopulated it, replacing the blood of their enemies with that of their own subjects and allies. It was empire building at the genetic level, a kind of biological conquest hidden beneath the ruins. And when scientists realized how far this reached, they understood they weren't just studying an empire, They were uncovering a genetic war. For centuries, Aztec legends spoke of a northern homeland called Aztlán, a place of 7 caves where their ancestors began their journey south. Most scholars dismissed it as mythology, but the DNA said otherwise. Within the ancient remains were haplogroups that stretched far beyond the Valley of Mexico, traces leading deep into the deserts of the American Southwest, even touching the genetic signatures of tribes once thought unrelated. It meant that the Aztecs weren't born in one place at all. They were the result of multiple migrations, entire waves of people converging over generations, fusing into something new. The empire that rose in Tenochtitlán was not just political, it was biological evolution by conquest. And as scientists tracked these migrations further north, they stumbled upon a terrifying realization. The bloodline didn't end where the empire did. It kept moving. The DNA wasn't just proof of migration, it was evidence of intent. As scientists mapped the genetic changes across time, they realized the Aztecs hadn't simply absorbed other peoples. They had replaced them. Entire towns vanished overnight, their residents relocated, enslaved, or sacrificed to the gods who demanded blood for the sun to rise. In their place, new populations appeared, carrying the genetic fingerprints of Aztec allies from distant provinces. This was no accident. It was policy. The empire had mastered a chilling form of control: erase resistance by erasing bloodlines. Where swords failed, they used population transfer. Where fear lingered, they rewrote ancestry itself. To rule the land, they reshaped its people, until even the conquered carried the conqueror's DNA. And beneath the temples, scientists soon found evidence that this manipulation wasn't random. It was organized.
Using advanced sequencing, scientists extracted ancient DNA from microscopic bone dust buried beneath the Aztec capital. Every strand told a fragment of a story once lost to myth. They discovered that these genetic signatures didn't evolve naturally. They changed suddenly, in bursts aligning perfectly with known periods of Aztec expansion. It was as if entire populations had been rewired within decades, their ancestry rewritten like a controlled experiment. The technology revealed something chilling. The Aztec rise wasn't only military or political, it was biological precision centuries ahead of its time. And the deeper scientists analyzed, the more disturbing the pattern became. The empire hadn't just ruled bodies or minds, it had learned to command DNA itself. And that realization opened a door humanity wasn't ready to walk through. As the findings spread through the academic world, the story of the Aztec Empire shattered like broken obsidian. The textbooks had painted them as brilliant engineers and fierce warriors, but the DNA revealed a deeper truth, one built on silence. Languages, art, and entire bloodlines had vanished overnight. The faces carved into temple walls were no longer just gods, they were memorials to the erased. Archaeologists began re-examining artifacts once thought decorative, realizing many marked territories where populations had been relocated or extinguished. What the Aztecs achieved wasn't just conquest, it was genetic control disguised as civilization. And the echoes of that control still linger in the DNA of modern descendants who have no idea where their blood truly came from. But the most haunting question remained unanswered. What happened to those who carried the purest bloodlines of the old world?
In the final phase of analysis, one pattern emerged, faint but undeniable. The Aztec DNA contained anomalies that shouldn't exist, markers that seemed out of place in time and geography. Some traced to regions far beyond the known world of the empire, others to populations that would only appear centuries later. No one could explain it. Was it trade, migration, or something else, something orchestrated? For now, the data remains locked inside servers, its meaning uncertain. But one truth is clear. The empire of the sun may be gone, yet its genetic shadow stretches into the modern age. Every time we map an ancient genome, we're not just studying history, we're listening to the voices of the altered, the erased, and the architects of their fate. And somewhere in that code, the next secret is still waiting to be found.